We'll certainly look at that.
All right, thank you so very much, Mr. Chairman. I'll yield back.
The gentlelady's time has expired, and now recognize the gentlelady from Minnesota, Ms. Omar, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. As you might have noticed, there's a lot of anxiety that is expressed by many of my colleagues when it comes to the income inequality and the disparities that continue to persist in our communities and in our country. We know that over the last 50 years, income inequality has gotten significantly worse. We know that wages have grown stagnant, and the richest Americans are the only ones that have been able to reap the benefits of the economic growth that we've seen in the country. In your report last month, you projected that income inequality will be greater in 2021 than it was in 2016. And so I wanted to see if you can give us an idea of how do the growing levels of income inequality affect consumption, and how would this affect the budget outlooks that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. And what you said is correct about our report. We show greater inequality in 2021. That has different effects on the economy and the budget. The budget is a little difficult to parse out just because the progressive nature of our tax code means that income at the top is taxed more than income at the bottom. So I can't off the top of my head say what it means for the fiscal situation. And of course there's negatives, right? Inequality means more spending on transfers and things like that. Mm-hmm. For the economy, it's a challenge, and it's an important long-term challenge that we know that inequality doesn't have just these short-term effects, but over time, it means a weaker economy and a weaker society. Mm. The children of families at the bottom have more difficult situations and worse trajectories. Mm-hmm. And that, in some sense, is an intergenerational transmission of inequality and of poverty. That's a key challenge for the nation.
Yeah, and as a millennial, speaking of millennials, I am the sponsor of a bill to cancel out student debt. Mm-hmm. And I recently saw that one of the ways that we can increase income inequality by like 50% was getting rid of student debt. What are other ways that we can decrease income inequality and increase the ability for millennials to be able to have the ability to have an input in our economy?
Okay. So I would look in some sense at the short term and the longer term. The short term, the tax and transfer system affects inequality. The taxes and transfer reduce inequality, but as you pointed out, in 2021, less than in 2016. Mm-hmm. So more could be done in the short term with either taxes or transfers. Mm-hmm. Over a longer horizon, the challenges are in some sense more difficult and slower. Education would be a key one, and then all the challenges that sort of help people use their education for their future. Housing, transportation, childcare, elder care, all the things that would make it possible for people at the bottom to work and to have a rising wage profile.
And an ability to stimulate the economy as well. Exactly. It was really unfortunate to see many of my colleagues using this hearing to be able to go after Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and to advocate for us to utilize our resources in putting more money in the pockets of the wealthy. I know that we have a national debt problem, and if we are not being creative in the ways that we are prioritizing our resources, we will continue to be in trouble. And so there is an opportunity for us to create a priority where we are lifting people up in order for us to avoid the kind of crises that we can foresee. So thank you for being here. Thank you for having this hearing, Chairman.
Gentlelady's time has expired, and now the moment we've all been waiting for, the ranking member is recognized for 10 minutes.
I have to admit, I forgot, you said at the beginning that you would go last, and I have to admit,